Mark Williams-Thomas, the child protection expert who's in Birmingham. And it seems, looking at the facts from a distance here, Mark, as if the teachers did what they should have done. This is what's almost awful about this, even more awful about the case. They reported stuff.
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Yes, and clearly the school did take some responsibility. They did pass some of that information on. Very interesting, the issues of schools is one that for many years has been ignored. Let's be very clear, school teachers, those people in the schools, will probably have more contact with children than many parents do. And therefore they're in a position to spot changes in behaviour, certain signs, potential abuse. And it's for them to pass it on. And I think what we have to do as a society is we need to change the way that we perceive and respond. And I think what we need to do is we need to say to somebody, if you have the slightest concern, if something appears wrong to you or it just doesn't sit comfortably with you, you need to pass it on. You pass that on through a chain up to the people who have greater responsibility or are designated in child protection. And then let's get that to the authorities and those professionals, be it in police or children's services, because we've got to now start holding people to account. Far too long do we do children's reviews, serious case reviews, and we are finding the same things happening again, but we're not holding people to account. I want that information to get to professionals, and those people then can be held to account for their failings.
But the mum in this case was clearly absolutely brilliant at lying. And at every turn she managed to deflect the questions.
Yeah, and I think that's a real problem, certainly for schools. I mean, my doctorate is currently looking at the issues of teachers within schools and whether they have the knowledge and understanding both to identify, report, and what the feedback is from local authority once they make that report. And it's interesting listening to your teacher who talks about the type of response that she got perhaps on one or more of the cases she reported, and the difference being up and down the country through thresholds, that be it in one area of the country, they might take a referral. In another area of the country, they may not take a referral. And there is real inconsistency that sits about the country.
Do you think teachers are regarded as amateurs by social workers? Is that what's happening here? So a teacher will say, look, I'm worried about this child. He looks a bit scraggly and underfed and he's very, very tired. And the social workers say, yeah, leave that to us. We're the experts.
Well, I think there's a number of issues. I think the workload on teachers is immense. Of course, this is part of an element that they have to train. What we need to do is we need to get better to teachers to say, in the same way as once you've learned to ride a bike, you will never forget how to ride a bike. We need to make child protection an integral daily aspect of what you do. So when you identify those concerns, you pass those concerns on. And then what we need to be getting is children's services and the police to respond in ways that's far more effective and better than they are at the moment, because the sad thing is that we always get back to the issue of resources. Resources are a real problem. Workloads are immense for police and children's services. You know, I speak to children's services and police up and down the country every day, and indeed I'm speaking to children's services this afternoon about a case, and I find myself so often saying to these people, you need to do this, you need to do that. Now, some of that's because these people have got real lack of experience, and some of it is because they just simply are so busy they can't think of the process beyond that. They get very tunnel visioned.
Thank you very much, Mark Williams-Thomas, child protection expert. We are discussing the terrible story of Daniel Pelka. It brings back memories of baby P.